Hello everyone, today we'll talk about the solution to the problem maximum score after splitting a string. This is quite an easy problem, and the only question that remains for us before we can solve it is how to implement this score calculation optimally. Certainly we don't want to have anything worse than linear. We have to have a linear algorithm because we have to look at the whole string. However, we don't want to be recalculating the scores of every substring, of the left and right substring for every split. Instead, we want to do something smarter. Now it's easy to see what can be smarter because the number and positions of zeros and ones does not change when we are running the algorithm. Which means that we can, for instance, remember both the number of zeros and ones in the whole string and the number of zeros and ones in one portion of the string, and then we know also the number of zeros and ones in the other portion, and we can calculate the score like that. However, what's even simpler is to notice that at the beginning we can imagine that we have an empty left substring and everything is a right substring. While this is an illegal split because we have to have two non-empty substrings. If that split were legal, then our score would be the number of ones in the right substring. So just the number of ones in the whole string. And now whenever we move the split point one element to the right, that moves a single character from the right to the left substring. And what happens to the score? Well, the score will change. If the character that we move is a 0, then that 0 was not giving us a score before, because it was in the right part, and now it's giving us a point in the left part, so the score increases by 1. However, if the character was a 1, then of course we have one fewer 1 in the right substring, so we lose one score, and that 1 doesn't do anything in the left substring. So in other words, when we move one character by one character, and we don't want to look at the last character because again, we don't want to consider the split where everything is in the left part, we add to the score either 1 or minus 1, depending on if the character is 1 or 0. So one way of doing that is to write it like 1 minus 2 times this condition. So if this condition is false, so c is equal to 0, we get 1. If c is equal to 1, we get 1 minus 2, so minus 1. And we add it to the current score, and of course we remember in the variable best, the best score we've seen previously. At the end we return the best score, and that is probably, well, it's definitely my favorite way of writing a simple algorithm like this, but if there is another way that you prefer, then feel free to do so, to write it as you like, and maybe to share in the comments if there is something even shorter, even sweeter than this.